Welcome back, our dear viewers. The National Elections Authority announced on Monday, headed by Councillor Hazem Badawi, the election of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as President of the Arab Republic of Egypt in a new presidential term after announcing the results of the official presidential elections 2024 after receiving 39,702,000 votes, or about 89.6% of the votes, while candidate Hazem Omar won second place with 4.5% of the vote, and Farid Zahran won 4% of the vote, and came last Abdessanad Yamama with 1.9% of the total valid votes. To shed more light on that, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Ambassador Ayman Mushraffa, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good morning, Mr. Ambassador. Hello, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Sir, how do you see the presidential elections 2024, and yesterday the National Elections Authority announced the final results with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi winning a new term in office for the upcoming 6 years with 89.6% of the valid votes, sir? Yes?
Actually, it was a multi-party election,
yes,
which reiterated our path to democracy. And it was a landslide for the president. He won actually, as you said, 89.6.
Yes.
Actually, the most important and the most important part of it, it was the participation.
Yes.
The participation was 66%,
yes,
which according to the international statistics and the history of Egyptian election, it was a wide participation from the Egyptian public opinion, and the Egyptians themselves have renewed their confidence in the leadership of President Sisi during the past period. And this election marked, the confidence in his leadership to guide Egypt for the next 6 years to come. And of course, as I said, it was a multi-party election. Many candidates participated from the left, from the center-right, which represented all the political tendency. So, as it was kind of a democracy, a good democratic practice, according to international standards.
Yes. Ambassador Mushraffa, how did you see this huge turnout, which was unprecedented in the Egyptian history, as it was announced yesterday by the head of the National Elections Authority? What was the reason behind this huge turnout and the keenness of the Egyptian citizen to go and cast his ballot?
Actually, the election came in a time, a very critical time, where Egypt is surrounded by an arc of crisis from the south, from the east, and from the east and the west. And the Gaza war is right now the main challenge to the Egyptian national security. And the president really is steering the boat in very high seas, as we say. And he was firm on such issues like the national security of Egypt and the Egyptian position towards the war of Gaza, which he reiterated that the Palestinian cause is in the heart of every Egyptian, and the refusal of any forced movement of the Palestinians towards Egypt, and the need for an immediate ceasefire. And even he convened an international conference in the new capital, and the Egyptian diplomacy played a very prominent role in trying to find a solution and to stop the bloodshed. So, the Egyptians realized that it's important that the president continue to lead the country in this path for peace and security in an area which is one of the most lethal areas around the world, full of crisis around us.
Yes. Can we say, sir, that the result by giving President Sisi 89.6% of the valid votes and the huge turnout is reflecting the keenness of the Egyptian citizen on supporting its leadership and increasing the awareness among the Egyptian citizens?
Of course, the Egyptian people are very aware of all the challenges that is surrounding Egypt, as I said,
yes,
from every direction. The geopolitical and the geography of Egypt is dictating a leadership which is aware of the difficult position that we are in, and a leadership which have respected regionally and internationally, and it could steer the path to the future, and it could draft a foreign policy which would preserve the national security and the national interest, not only for Egypt, for the Arab world, and to help the fellow brother Palestinians to find a permanent solution based on the 242 and 338 resolution to end the suffering of the Palestinian people.
Yes, in his address after after the announcement that he won the presidential elections, President Sisi thanked the Egyptian citizen and described the Egyptian citizen as the real hero for tolerating all the challenges and its repercussions. So as we are talking now, sir, how do you see the most alarming challenges that Egypt would be facing and the president would be facing in his term in office, which is the upcoming 6 years?
First, I want to hail the gesture of the president by thanking the other candidates in participating in this electoral campaign and expressing their view freely, and it was a very actually a nice gesture and a proof of democracy and tolerance. Second, of course, besides the foreign challenges surrounding Egypt, we have another challenge, which is the economic challenge.
Indeed.
In a time which the world actually is having a great crisis, and we have some alarming figures like the rise of inflation and the rise of oil prices, which is posing a global threat to the effort of development, plus the environmental crisis too, and the environmental challenge facing the area. So, I mean, the president, the former mandate, the president really, his achievements spoke for himself. I mean, like great infrastructure projects, great mega projects, like the administrative city, like upgrading the communication lines, like the rail tracks, like new highways, new tunnels. Which, I mean, helped the president great to speak for himself, and the people realize that the president has need another mandate to achieve his promises and his aspiration for a great Egypt.
Yes, also the president in his speech talked about the main challenge that Egypt is facing, which is the threat on our eastern border and war in Gaza. From your point of view, sir, how that could be tackled during the upcoming days in order to try to find a political solution for the crisis, to try to stop the Israeli aggression against the Palestinians. And we have to mention here that Egypt actually and the Egyptian diplomacy is playing a very important role, and they did do great efforts in order to try to find a solution. So how that could be tackled, sir, which is a very alarming file?
From the outset of the crisis, the president reiterated on the principle that the Egyptian diplomacy has put in tackling the crisis. First, they said he asked for a ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire. Second, a political solution for the crisis, because the crisis had roots. What happened was due to the permanent suffering of the Palestinians throughout 7 decades of living in camps, living in undignified life, and through the Israeli continuous aggression and desecration of sacred places for the Palestinians and the Muslims. And he reiterated a very, very important principle that no plans is allowed to move the Palestinians from their land.
Indeed.
And the Egyptian borders are sacred borders. It's not for negotiations. And
Indeed.
second, he asked for a humanitarian corridor to help the Palestinians inside Palestine, a permanent humanitarian system and modus operandi that it will be the lifeline of the Palestinian inside Gaza, not outside Gaza.
Yes.
So, I mean, our policy is very, very clear, and we opened the Rafah border, and right now there is news that we will open El Oga, the border crossing, and Karam Abu Salim crossing. So most of the crossing with Israel and Gaza is going to be used to help and to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinians inside the Gaza Strip.
Yes.
And of course, it is very important that the president reiterated an important principle that the citizen of Gaza should live in a very dignified way.
Indeed.
In rebuilding the old destroyed infrastructure. They should have proper hospitals, proper infrastructure, proper sanitation to be living in a proper way and dignified way.
Yes.
But what is happening right now is not acceptable
Indeed.
by any kind of standard and not acceptable by the Egyptian leadership.
Yes. What else, from your point of view, Ambassador Mushraffa, would be of great importance to be topping the agenda of the president in the upcoming term in office?
I mean, I think the challenge is an economic challenge. We are in a battle of rebuilding, and the president made an important point that we need to increase our export, increase our internal production, increase our industrial output to be able to export more and to maximize our earning in dollars. So we would tackle the chronic deficit between the expenditure and the income. And in the same time, the president has an agenda to improve the quality of life of the normal Egyptian citizen through many initiatives like Haya Karima, like the small projects in the countryside, so improving the sewage system and all relevant infrastructure which would alleviate and will modernize the quality of life of the Egyptian people around. And always the president has in mind the quality of life for normal Egyptians.
Yes.
So during the past tenure, he worked hard to improve the quality of life and for the Egyptians, especially retired people. He increased several times the pension and the salaries and stuff like that.
Indeed. Sir, also back to the elections, and do you believe now, as the people were keen to participate and to be aware of the political situation on the ground, do you believe that the political parties in Egypt in the coming phase would be playing a more active role as the people are becoming more and more aware of the political activities on the ground?
I do hope that we'll have more active participation from other political parties. Actually, in my own opinion and in my private opinion, the showing of many political parties was not up to the expectation of the Egyptians, except few other parties. So we need the political parties to play a prominent role in solving the problem of the Egyptian and to participate positively in the national dialogue. And this national dialogue was an initiative of the president to open the door for the participation of many other opinion and many political parties to try to give solution to our problems and to participate in different initiatives.
Indeed, Ambassador Ayman Mushraffa, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much, sir, for your precious input and for being our guest for today. And indeed, a very important day yesterday was for Egypt, as the National Elections Authority, headed by Councillor Hazem Badawi, announced the election of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, President of the Republic, in the new presidential term, after announcing the result of the presidential elections 2024 with 89.6% of the valid votes. Our dear viewers will go to a short break, and after that we'll be back to resume our segments in the breakfast show, so stay tuned.